Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm just sitting here drinking a little coffee, and I got my Christmas coffee cup, and getting ready for the day. Getting ready to do a little workout, and then head out and get some things done. Just want to talk to you about the vision for Package Light Media. I've done this in another video that's about 12 minutes long. You can find that on the blog. But just want to talk about Package Light Media and where that name comes from. Um, I've been in youth ministry about 6 years now, and one of the things that I find with all of my students is they want to have conversations about things that are going on in the culture. Cultural artifacts is what I call them. Several years ago, I read this book by Andy Crouch called Culture Making, and Andy says in this book very simply that culture is what we make of the world. So he says one of the greatest blessings God gave us is that He provided us a system to work in. So trees grow, and we can take those trees and make them into a home. But then culture comes from, in the United States, we take a forest of trees and we turn those into a mansion. But in Ethiopia, Africa, they take a tree or a forest of trees and turn that into a pole hut. So our culture, our background, our worldview helps us determine or determines what we make of this world and how we make it. So culture is simply what we make of the world, and the things we make in the world are cultural artifacts. And so my students wanted to talk a lot about these cultural artifacts, such as movies, television, film. I always say movies and film. They're the same thing, but movies, film, books, social media, YouTube, um, Netflix, all these things that are cultural artifacts that have an influence. You see, the interesting thing is those things have influence for a short time, and then something else comes and replaces that. So it's this non-stop approach to pumping content into the world continuously. So that's what Package Light Media, that's where the vision comes from, that we create culture, create cultural artifacts, and pump those things into the world in a significant way. So Package Light Media, as I looked and started to study where Christians were in mainline culture and these creating these cultural artifacts, it's hard to find a Christian. I'm not saying they're not there. It's just that it's hard to find a Christian in those areas creating films or writing books that have a significant influence in the culture. I'm not saying it's non-existent, but it's just hard to find, and it's hard to find our influence. One of the things we've been really good about is going and creating a Christian subculture. Not that that's bad or that it's not needed or necessary, but what that does is remove us from the conversation, the mainline conversation. And that also limits our influence and it limits the gospel in the lost world. So here's what happens. A new Christian movie comes out. A lost person's going to the movie theater. They see, and there's this movie. And they say, well, what is that? So they look it up. It's a Christian movie. Well, I'm not a Christian, they say. So they go pick another film, another movie. And so maybe it's just semantics or labeling, but I think it's more than that. But we've really limited the reach of our message, and we've limited in areas that really need it. Those people need to hear the gospel. So the idea behind Package Light is that we actually package the light of the gospel. Not that it can be contained, but that we tuck it away in an avenue that allows it to be opened up by the lost world. The scripture tells us that the darkness flees from the light. So you just shine the light into the darkness, darkness flees, darkness runs from it. But if you package it in such a way that you tell a good story, let's just take a movie, for example. Let's say we produce a movie and we tell a story that's engaging. We tell a story that's heartfelt. We tell a story that deals with content that people deal with today in the world, and we put that out there, and a lost person watches it, and the package begins to open up, and the light begins to shine, and they say, I want to know more about this writer who wrote this film. I want to know more about the director. I want to know more about the actors. And they start seeking the truth, and they find Jesus Christ. They find the gospel. They find redemption. Romans 5 tells us that at the right time, Christ died. At the right time, in His time, Christ died. And we'll pray that over all of the content that we produce and release. We'll pray that at the right time, the lost person, the lost persons, will see the light that comes from Jesus Christ only and be drawn into that truth. So that's what we're praying. That's what we're hoping for. And that's the vision behind Package Light Media. Hey, thank you guys for applying. Thank you for all who have signed up for our email list. Continue to do that. If you think of anybody that would be interested, share this message with them, share this website with them. We want to get as many people involved in this as we can. We'll be doing our hiring very soon, and we want to get started producing this content. Already got a lot of great ideas and great ways to go about this, but we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us on the contact form, sign up on the email list, and we'd love to be in touch with you. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.